For better or hearse. The hearse was parked outside his window again that night. Gabe tried not to let it worry him. He knew it probably meant that one of his neighbors worked for a cemetery. But it was still strange to look out and see the large dark car right below his window. In the morning it was always gone. Whoever drove the hearse brought it around only at night and left before Gabe woke up. He didn't mention it to anyone at home. His mom and dad would think he was just being childish to be scared of it, and his brother would tease him endlessly. But one day while walking to school, Gabe told his friend John, who lived just a few houses down the street. John's eyes lit up. "A hearse? Let's check it out tonight!" "I don't know," said Gabe. "It really gives me the creeps." But late that night Gabe heard a tapping at his window. Sure enough, it was John. Gabe climbed out to meet him. Together they approached the shiny black car. "Cool," John said, gliding his hand over the smooth, curved steel. "Don't touch it," Gabe said, peering through the driver's window. The dashboard and front seat looked disappointingly just like an ordinary car. Still, there was a curtain just behind the driver's seat, and curtains all around the back section of the car. "I wonder if the back doors are locked," whispered John, running around to the rear of the hearse. "Don't even try it," Gabe said, but he was too late. "It's open," John whispered, already turning the handle. Gabe had to admit he was kind of curious. He peered inside at the long, empty space usually occupied by coffins. A shiver went up his spine when he thought of all the dead people that had ridden back there. "Let's go inside," John said, clambering aboard before Gabe could open his mouth to protest. Suddenly the back doors of the coal-black hearse slammed shut and the engine started. In shock, Gabe watched the hearse lurch forward. He ran after it, trying to grab the back handle, but the hearse was already moving too fast. Gabe looked at the horrible black car pulling away, and then he noticed something really weird. John wasn't screaming and banging on the window. He wasn't trying to get out at all. He was just sitting there calmly and smiling. Gabe ran to John's house, banged on the door, and rang the doorbell frantically. When John's parents finally came to the door, Gabe quickly told them what had happened, but they wouldn't believe him. "John is upstairs in bed," Mr. Michelson said, sounding a little annoyed. John's mother put her hand on Gabe's shoulder. "Why don't you run upstairs and see for yourself?" she said. "John is just fine." Both John's parents followed Gabe upstairs to John's room, and sure enough, there was John, lying peacefully in bed. John's parents turned to Gabe for an explanation, but Gabe didn't look at them. With tears streaming down his cheeks, he was still looking at John, whose parents hadn't noticed that their son wasn't breathing.